Today you're going to listen to a story that is going to melt your heart. Aiden, my angel. This story is not based on fiction or fantasy, but a story of true and beautiful love. A love that was full of life and color, that was never dull or quiet. A love that was truly one of a kind. We had a beautiful beginning and a wonderful middle. Sadly, we never got a happily ever after. Aiden and I first met in our freshman year of high school in our English class. It wasn't exactly love at first sight. In fact, we practically hated one another and we were too stubborn and hot-headed to get past the strange wall of anger that had built between us. Towards the middle of freshman year, we had finally reached talking terms, and by the end of it, we were hanging out every day outside the school. But Sundays were the one day we were always together because we attended the same church. We were constantly questioned if we were dating, and all that I and he could do was laugh. We were best friends, and the thought of people seeing us more than that seemed simply ridiculous. Time went on, and as freshman year ended and the summer began, Aiden and I began spending more and more time together and became practically inseparable. Before we knew it, final year had already begun. We were finally getting out of the awkward stage of high school and moving up the food chain, able to drive and at the age where we could finally find a part-time job. On the first day of college, Aiden picked me up in his shiny silver Alto, not a car of his choice but still a car. When arriving at school, everyone thought that we had finally started dating. Much to their dismay, we told them we weren't. Time seemed to have flown by. It was September and my birthday was less than 3 days away. I could practically taste the slight freedom I would soon receive. On Friday, the day before my birthday, halls were bustling and excited, ready for that night's football game against our biggest rivals. On that day, I found a note in my locker inscribed to me. Opening it, it read, "Wear something nice tonight. I have a surprise for you. I will pick you up at 9, Aiden." I was confused. What was Aiden up to? Rushing home, I got ready and began to turn my clean room into an unbelievable mess with mountains of clothing. I heard the doorbell ringing. Aiden had arrived when I slipped on an yellow sundress. We walked onto his car and we headed off to the city. To my surprise, he took me to a nice Italian restaurant, and after we had finished, we headed to the beach right when the sun was setting. We walked by the water and just talked. As the sun finally set, fireworks had suddenly begun. It was beautiful and absolutely perfect. I couldn't believe that Aiden came up with this romantic idea. As the light show ended, we walked back towards his car. He suddenly stopped me for a moment. "Autumn," he said, looking at me. I could see in his eyes that there was something wrong. "What was it?" I asked. "There is something I need to tell you. I wanted to tell you this for a long time, and it's killing me. So here it goes." I stood there for a second and began to chuckle. I felt my heart began to skip. I cannot believe I am doing this. "Autumn, I love you. I have for a long time. I just have got chance, or rather, I was way too scared to tell you. I don't want this to change us, and I'm not looking for you to say it too. I just can't keep going without telling you this, because it'll make me sick. Like I said, Autumn, I'm not looking for you to say it back. I just want you to know." He flashed me a smile and slowly turned around. I didn't know what to do or what to say. I was in shock. I stood there petrified. What was this going to do to us? Would it change everything? Of course it would. I was just too afraid to see it clearly or even think about it. I began to walk and I realized that this whole time somewhere inside of me I had feelings for him too. I had just repressed them. I was scared, but I guess it's true that you fall for your best friend. I looked up and Aiden already by his car waiting for me. All of a sudden I was running. He saw me and began to walk my way. and in an instant I was holding and kissing him. "I love you," I said with a smile stretched across my face. I could see it in his eyes that he was astonished, yet as happy as could be. That amazing night I will forever remember because it was the happiest day of my life. September 3rd, 2007. Days flew by, then weeks, months, and even years, attending Christmas and summer vacations with our families, who were more than happy that we were finally together. Night outs into the city to get dinner, double dates with our best friends, and even voted prom king and queen by our friends during senior year. We were in love, blissful, and even beautiful love. Soon enough, we were sitting together at graduation, looking back on some of our best memories. During fall, after we graduated, we attended Virginia Tech together, still as strong a couple as we were in high school. Things were perfect, but like every perfect moment, it ends. In the middle of our freshman year of college, I noticed that Aiden was losing weight, and something seemed wrong. He was becoming sick more often than usual, and he was tired all the time. I was beginning to worry, but every time I asked him if he was okay, all he said was, "He's fine." He was never a good liar, and he knew it because every time he told me he was fine, his eyes became big and his face grew pale. In mid-December, we were in my dorm, cuddled up on the couch, watching a movie. He let out a blood-curdling cry of agony, a sound that I will never forget. I called 911. An ambulance was there within a few minutes. As they loaded him, I didn't know what was going on. I was scared I would lose him, but I knew that I had to stay positive. I raced to my car and followed behind the ambulance until we reached the hospital. As they took him into the ICU, I stood in the waiting room impatiently, waiting to hear from the doctor. 2 hours later, Dr. Richards came into the waiting room. I raced up to him, ready for answers. "Doctor, what's going on? Is he okay?" I asked quickly. "He's resting right now, and you can go see him if you like. The cancer is really taking its toll on his body." "I'm sorry, did you say cancer?" I said in shock. "Yes, I did. I'm sorry, did you not know?" He was confused. "No, he never told me. He lied to me. Aiden never told me about this, any of it." "Autumn, he has pancreatic cancer. The cancer has spread beyond the help of chemo or radiation." "What does that mean? He's going to die?" "I'm afraid so. I'm terribly sorry." "How long?" "I diagnosed him a month ago, but because the cancer is an advanced stage, I gave him 5 months, 8 if he's lucky." 5 months, that's it? "Can I see him now?" I asked through tears. "Of course." We walked through the double door, past patients and working nurses and doctors. We had finally made into Aiden's room where he was resting. "I will leave you two alone." He closed the door behind him. I stood there, not moving, just looking at Aiden. And when he looked back, I could see in his eyes that he knew. "Doctor told you, huh?" He chuckles. "How can you be laughing?" I say, astonished. "Don't you knew this whole time and you never said anything? Not a word." I felt the tears coming. "I tried to tell you, but the face you have right now was exactly what I was scared of." "So you were just going to wait until you were dead?" I couldn't hold my anger anymore. "No, because I wanted us to be as normal as we could. I don't want things to change, Autumn. I don't want this to change us. I don't want the rest of whatever I have left to spend in a bed just waiting for me to rot and die." His voice started to crack. I was speechless. I knew then why he didn't say anything. He was scared just like I was. And there I stood, totally lost. I walked over to him and sat on the edge of the bed, taking his hand. "Aiden, that's not going to happen, I promise. And I'm sorry, but you and me, we don't have secrets. We never have. So from this moment on, no more secrets. Deal?" He smiles. "Deal." I kissed him on the head. From that moment on, there was no secrets, no more hiding, no more tears, and no more sadness. From that moment, our love was brighter and stronger than ever. We spent every walking moment together, just taking advantage of the time we had left. 2 months passed, then 3, and as I began to have hope, things took a turn for the worst. At 4 months, Aiden wasn't able to walk much or stand. His health was decreasing rapidly, and his body was steadily losing its mass. It was hard for me to watch him endure this, but I wasn't going to leave him. I remember April 12, 2011 like it was yesterday. We were sitting in the hospital like the days earlier. He was lying on the bed as I was reading him a book. "You wanna know something?" he asked, looking at me, his voice almost inaudible. "What?" I asked. "Sometimes I imagine that you and me are like people in a book who fall in love and have a happily ever after. I'm jealous of them because I won't ever get my happily ever after with you." I put down the book and sat on the bed. "You made a great Princess Autumn, better than all the others," he said, making a smile as big as he could. "And you were a terrific prince who swept me off my feet." I laid next to him and he kissed the top of my head. "I love you, baby," he whispered. "I love you too," and the tears began. We fell asleep together that night, and at 1:09 a.m. on April 13, 2011, Aiden became my angel. Somehow I knew that night we spent together would be his last, and in a way I accepted it. I certainly wasn't okay with it, but I knew that he was in a much better place. It has been over a year since Aiden passed, and not a day goes by not thinking about him or missing him. He was everything to me, my love, hope, inspiration, partner, confidence, and my prince. Many people have their ideas of love and have many different experiences. Love can come and go, but the memories never fade. Love really is like a fairy tale. The prince and the princess fall in love, they face a bumpy road, an adventure along the way, and they live happily ever after. Sadly, that isn't the case for me, because my book keeps going, even though I wanted it to end with Aiden. If I had learned anything from being with him, it's that love is never perfect, but it's stronger than anyone could ever imagine. It just had to be put to the test. Wherever Aiden may be, I will never forget him, and I will always love him.